Greg Gianforcaro is a criminal defense attorney, and Kelly Sandin is a former prosecutor. They both join us now with some more insight. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So, Greg, I'll start with you. Does this definitely show that they are going to go for the insanity defense, in your opinion, and how difficult will that be?
Well, I think under the circumstances, it's the only possible defense that they have in this type of situation. And yeah, I absolutely do believe that they're going to go for insanity. I mean, if you look at him, you've got a jury may look at him and the situation here and think to themselves, I mean, the guy does look like he's off, and could that lead to an acquittal on the basis of insanity? It's always the possibility. If I'm his attorney, that's the way I'm going to go. I mean, look at the Jared Lee Lochner with with Congressman Gabby Giffords. That defense took the death penalty off the table. And if I'm the defense attorney in this situation, that's what I'm going to go for, because obviously the prosecution's going to go for the death penalty.
Yeah, and Kelly, I want to ask you as a former prosecutor, because I've been wondering this throughout. Greg just mentioned that he looks insane. What control, if any, do prosecutors have over his appearance in the courtroom? Can they do anything about the red hair, the black roots, the crazy looks that he has? And if he is deemed mentally ill, what does that mean for the case moving forward?
The prosecution can't do anything about that, and it's interesting that you noted that, because that's what I'm thinking from a defense perspective. That is what you want. You normally would clean up a defendant to try to make him look like he has it together, get a closely shorn haircut. In this case, the crazier he looks, the better for their building their case. And in terms of how does this affect the trial, first of all, they have to see if he is mentally competent. Can he stand trial? So from a prosecution standpoint, you're going to say, yes, it was carefully and meticulously planned. He knew what he was doing. And the defense perspective is going to be, this is some guy who's off his rocker. Not only did he understand the consequences, he didn't know right from wrong. He didn't plan it out in a way that is normal. There's something off. He needs medical treatment, and until he gets it, he cannot be tried for these cases and
Greg,
crimes. Excuse me.
We have 12 people who were killed. We have 58 others who were injured. And I want to read a quote here from one of the victims' brothers. She was 23 years old, Michaela Medic. She died in this shooting spree. Shane Medic is her brother, and he said this: they keep talking about fairness for him. It's like they're babysitting this dude, his words. So what about fairness to the victims, Greg?
Look, the system is set up that that 10 guilty men go free than one innocent man is convicted. That's just the way the system's been. That's the criminal justice system. And look, Kelly's a prosecutor, and if I was prosecuting this case because of victims like that, I have to go for the death penalty, and I get that. But as a defense attorney, I have to try and get that insanity plea in and hope that under the circumstances, it makes some type of difference in the case.
Kelly, how do you counter, as a prosecutor, that insanity defense?
You say that he knew what he was doing. That insanity defense, in order to get it, you have to say that they couldn't understand right from wrong at the time of the act. And so even with how he's acting right now, this was planned out. He ordered all that ammunition. He ordered those weapons. He planned, he bought a ticket, he propped the door open, he had a costume, he had flak gear to try to escape. I'm going to say this is not insanity. This was carefully meticulated. He's a smart guy who was in a program relative to brain sciences. He planned it out, and he was not insane at the time. He might be unfit to stand trial presently. He needs to get medical care and treatment to bring him back to the norm, and he needs to be prosecuted. And just really quickly to touch on the victims, after conviction is secured, that's when the victims come into play, because they get to weigh in on what the penalty that's given should be. Victims sometimes do get the short end of the stick in our judicial system.
All right. Thank you both for joining us. We appreciate it. Greg and Kelly, thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Heather.
Happening now, coming your way at the top of the hour.